Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Julie Chrisley listed not in custody. Has she been secretly freed? The Bureau of Prisons records show that Julie Chrisley is not in custody. The Chrisley Knows Best star is supposed to be in federal custody ahead of her resentencing hearing later this month. Now, officials aren't releasing any information about where Julie is. Has she been secretly freed? Here is what has been revealed so far. Julie Chrisley listed as not in BOP custody. Julie Chrisley is listed as not in custody on the Bureau of Prisons website. When news outlets reached out about more information regarding Julie's whereabouts, they released a statement pertaining to what not in BOP custody might mean. People who are incarcerated might be listed as not in BOP custody for a variety of reasons, especially if their sentence has not been completed. They might be out of custody for a period of time to attend court hearings. Prisoners might also be listed not in BOP custody as they receive medical treatment. It's also possible to have this listed as your status as a prisoner if you have been transferred to a halfway house or supervised custody, aka house arrest. However, the Federal Bureau of Prisons stated they could not comment directly on Julie Chrisley's whereabouts and cited safety as the reason why. Julie is likely being transferred for resentencing. Todd and Julie Chrisley were found guilty of tax evasion and bank fraud in 2022. The reality TV couple received a combined 19 years behind bars, with Julie receiving a 7-year sentence. On top of that, they were also ordered to pay $17.2 million in restitution. They were ordered to report for their prison sentences in January of 2023. Todd Chrisley has been serving his time in a facility in Florida, while Julie has been located in Kentucky. Last September, their sentences were reduced. Julie Chrisley's sentence was reduced by 14 months, and Todd's was dropped by 2 years. This summer, the couple submitted their case to an appeals court. The judge withheld Todd's sentence, but chose to vacate Julie's. It was determined by the court that there was not sufficient evidence to say that Julie Chrisley knew about the fraud that was happening the entire time. Since July, the Chrisley Knows Best star has been waiting for her resentencing hearing. She initially tried to get out of appearing in person in Atlanta, but the judge ruled that she would have to be present in court. Although Julie's whereabouts have not been confirmed by BOP or her attorney, it is assumed that she is likely in transit for her September 25 court hearing. It often takes a month or more for a prisoner to be transferred from one location to another. The federal prison website refreshes every few hours, usually with dry bureaucratic accuracy. It's the last place you'd expect to find a mystery. But on a quiet July morning, the entry for Julie Chrisley set the internet ablaze. Her status, once clearly marked in custody at the Federal Medical Center in Lexington, Kentucky, now read something astonishing: not in custody. Fans of Chrisley Knows Best were quick to notice the change. Social media exploded with speculation. Had she been quietly released? Was this a clerical error or something far more scandalous? I checked it twice, one fan posted in disbelief. Julie's status says not in TUSTODY, but no official statement, no footage, nothing from Savannah. Julie Chrisley, once the glamorous and poised matriarch of the Chrisley Empire, had been serving a 7-year sentence for her role in the federal bank fraud and tax evasion case that rocked the reality TV world. Alongside husband Todd, who remains incarcerated in Florida, Julie was expected to serve her full sentence, or at least a reduced term in line with the federal system's guidelines. But this unexpected status change seemed to defy all logic. Even the Bureau of Prisons remained silent, offering only vague boilerplate replies to journalists who dared inquire. We do not comment on individual inmates due to privacy concerns. That silence only fueled the fire. Savannah Chrisley, never one to shy away from dramatic social media storytelling, posted a cryptic Instagram story just hours after the news broke. A black screen with the words, "Nothing is what it seems. Trust the process." No explanation followed. Meanwhile, Chrisley family attorney Alex Little told local reporters, "We are aware of the confusion surrounding Julie's status and are working to clarify it. As of now, we have no comment." No comment? For a family known for turning their private lives into public spectacles, the lack of transparency was deafening. Soon, TikTok sleuths were tracing possible sightings. One user swore they saw Julie at a Whole Foods in Franklin, Tennessee. Another claimed they overheard someone at an airport lounge say they saw Julie boarding a Delta flight, alone, looking thin, wearing a hoodie, sunglasses, and a pink designer tote. None of it was confirmed, but none of it could be disproven either. What if Julie had been quietly released? Some legal analysts began to hypothesize about compassionate release. Julie, after all, had long claimed serious health issues. She had reportedly undergone treatment for breast cancer and dealt with anxiety and depression while in custody. Could those factors have earned her a discreet early release? One former federal corrections officer, speaking anonymously, suggested something even more shocking. It's not unheard of for inmates to be temporarily removed from custody without public notice, especially if cooperating with authorities. If she had information, say, about financial crimes beyond her original case, it's possible. The words hung heavy, cooperating with authorities. Was Julie cutting a deal behind Todd's back? Fans began theorizing that Julie might have flipped. A potential tell-all with federal prosecutors to save herself. After all, she had always come across as more reluctant than Todd, less bombastic, more reserved. Maybe prison had shifted her loyalty. Maybe she was finally ready to tell her side of the story, even if it meant implicating others. If that were true, the Chrisley brand could implode. Back in Tennessee, the family compound had gone unusually quiet. Nanny Faye refused to answer questions outside her gated driveway, brushing past paparazzi with her signature Southern sass, but without her usual sparkle. Meanwhile, Chase Chrisley posted, and then quickly deleted, a story showing a bouquet of roses with a note reading, "Welcome home." The internet was quick to screenshot it. Had he accidentally confirmed his mother's return? Then came the bombshell. A blurry photo, circulated on Reddit, appeared to show Julie sitting in the passenger seat of a black SUV outside a Nashville wellness clinic. Her blonde hair pulled back, face partially obscured, but unmistakably her. The photo was dated just one day after her inmate status changed. That's when questions shifted from "was she freed?" to "why was it a secret?" A possible theory began to take shape, one rooted not in crime, but in control. Some sources close to the family whispered that the Bureau of Prisons may have approved Julie's release to home confinement under the CARES Act extension. Designed during the COVID-19 pandemic to reduce prison overcrowding, the act had allowed nonviolent offenders with health risks to complete their sentences from home. Yet that didn't explain the secrecy. Typically, such releases are noted, scheduled, and at least acknowledged by representatives. Why all the cloak and dagger? There was one final twist. TMZ reported late Sunday night that a Chrisley production company had recently filed a mysterious trademark request for the name Reclaimed Chrisley, a title that sounded suspiciously like a docuseries in the making. Could it be that Julie's secret release was simply a build-up to her next big role? A soft reboot of the brand, a raw confessional-style reality show where Julie reclaims her voice, and her freedom, one episode at a time. If so, the stunt was working. America was watching. Still, for many longtime fans, it wasn't about the mystery. It was about the mother. "I don't care how she got out," one fan wrote on Facebook. "If Julie's free and home with her family, that's all that matters." For now, the questions remain unanswered. Julie Chrisley has not made a public appearance. The Bureau of Prisons remains tight-lipped. The family, predictably, is milking the moment for suspense. But one thing is certain: whether she's been freed, relocated, or reinventing herself behind the scenes, Julie Chrisley is no longer just inmate numbers 72,670 through 19. She's a question mark wrapped in designer denim.